Hey guys, what's going on? Earth Twister here, and we're coming at you with a special deck that I designed centered around this card, Psychic Misdirection. And this card reads: play only if your identity has a psionic trait, and when an enemy attacks you, choose a different enemy. Damage from that attack is dealt to the chosen enemy instead of you. Now, I was thinking about this, and of course, for this to work, you have to have an identity that has a psionic trait. So there's really only two heroes that have the Psionic trait, Phoenix and Psylocke. And I really thought playing in protection that Psylocke was going to be our best bet here. So we're going with Betsy Braddock, Psylocke here. And she does have the Psionic trait as well as X Force and Mutant in her alter ego. So, to keep in theme with the psychic misdirection and damaging enemies in the villain phase, we're of course going to be using Riposte to help do some more damage in the villain phase as we need to. And just in case for the psychic misdirection, we don't have a target for it, we definitely have a couple of come get me bubs that'll help us also survive a little bit, get some health, get a tough status card, and that'll be really, really good there. Now, the main purpose of this deck, again, is the Psychic Misdirection, so we want to make sure we can play that, and Yocasta is actually going to help us do that a little bit more. Now, along with playing the Psychic Misdirection card, we want to do a little extra damage. So we're going to be playing things like Scimitar to deal extra damage when we play a Psionic card, and Flow Like Water that triggers every single time we play a defense event, we'll be able to do an extra point of damage. Then, of course, since we're going to be defending with a Psychic Misdirection and not taking any damage, we will be using Unflappable to be able to draw an extra card, and defeating enemies will allow us to trigger Change of Fortune to draw two cards. Now, we need some survivability to help us stay alive, and so North Star will help us along with Endurance, Armored Vest, and then we've got a couple of other allies here, Professor X and Gambit. So these things are going to help keep us alive. And to help us pay for things, we do, of course, have team building exercise, helicarrier, and X Gene. And to top it all off, of course, we've got the doubles and the power of the mind. Let me know if you guys try this deck out. And of course, it's going to be linked down in the description below. But let's take it over to the table and see how it does against Drang in expert mode. All right, well, here we are down at the table. And we have got everything set up. Drang it out with his spear. Of course, we've got two threat there on terrestrial invasion, and the Badoon ship is out in play, as well as the Milano. The Psy Knife, Psy energy upgrades are face up, and of course, Betsy Braddock is in alter ego mode. Let's go ahead and draw our first hand of six. We got Flurry of Blades, Mental Detection, Team Building Exercise, Flow Like Water, Weapons Training, and Psychic Misdirection. That's actually really, really good. So let's go ahead and I think I'm going to drop her to events here. While they're pretty good, I'm really trying to focus on getting these things out. And of course, having the retaliate one may be helpful. So we'll discard those two. We get another mental detection and a riposte. All right. So let's go ahead and pull our hand together and we'll get started. All right. So I kind of hate really, the psychic misdirection, I should have mulliganed because I don't have a target for it. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but I think we can make this work. So we're gonna go ahead and flip up. I will thwart for one, and as I'm doing that, as for three, but as I'm doing that, I'm gonna flip this, so it's just thwarting for two. Then I'm gonna go ahead and exhaust the Milano to generate a physical resource. The Sai Katana will generate a physical resource, and the Sai Knife will generate the mental. Go ahead and get rid of Drink Spear. Okay. I'm going to then use Psychic Misdirection and Riposte as two resources to pay for weapons training. So I get Retaliate 1. We can pay for things right now, so we're not going to worry too much about team building exercise. So we'll use these two to pay for Flow Like Water. Then we'll go ahead and ready. All right, we'll draw up. So one, 2, 3, and 4. Not super helpful, but it'll be a hand that we can save for the next turn. All right. So threat goes up by 2. Then after resolving step 1 of the villain phase, resolve the Badoon ship's charge up ability. And that is place 1 barrage counter here. Then if there are 4 more barrage counters here, deal 2 indirect damage to each player and remove all barrage counters from here. Okay. Then Drang will attack for 3 plus a boost. I'm going to take it. 3, 4, 5. So I take 5 damage. And Drang will take 1 from my retaliate. Okay. We get an encounter card. The villain schemes, so he'll scheme for 2. And then we get the Badoon Grunt. And after he is engaged with me and there's no other minions, we get another face down encounter card. So he schemes for 2, bringing that up to 4 out of 8. Okay. And we resolve this one, and it's another Badoon Grunt. Okay. Not bad. I have way too many resources in hand, so I might as well use the Milano to get rid of 3 threat there, because it's the first player action to exhaust the Milano and remove 3 threat from the scheme. Then I don't really want one of those Badoon Grunts sticking around, so I'm going to go ahead and swing it for 2 because of the Psychotana at the Badoon Grunt. So that gets rid of that one. Then I am going to go ahead and play Come Get Me, Bub. So I discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until I discard a minion. Then I put that minion into play engaged with me and heal 3 damage from my identity and give myself a tough status card. So we get a Badoon Engineer. After Badoon Engineer engages you or activates against you, resolve the Badoon ship's charge up ability. Okay, so that brings us 1 step closer. He came in, I get to heal 3, bringing me back up to 8 and giving me a tough status card. All right, so then I have 4 resources in hand and a Psychic Misdirection. I honestly think I'm just going to discard a resource card and then draw 2 more. Okay, and then let the villain phase begin. The threat goes up by 2, bringing this up to 3 of 8. We resolve the Badoon ship charge up ability, bringing this up to 3. Drang will attack me, but I'm going to use we'll use energy to pay for Psychic Misdirection. So he instead is going to attack the Badoon Engineer here. He's going to attack for 3, just 3, but that is enough to defeat the Badoon Engineer. I do, because that was a defense card. It says defense right there, so it's a defense card. Since it was a defense card, I get to deal damage to the attacking enemy. And because he was attacking me, he gets retaliated against. Now, I'm not 100% sure. The card reads, when an enemy attacks you, so he's still attacking me, choose a different enemy and damage from that attack is dealt to the chosen enemy instead. So he's still attacking me, so that's why I feel like the retaliate goes against him. Okay, so now I do get attacked by the Badoon Grunt, which just knocks off my tough. And then we get an encounter card, which is a Badoon Assassin. And after he attacks me, he attacks with +2. So if he attacks me, it'll be for 3. I think I'm okay with defending. So I'll take 1 damage from him. He gets retaliated against and leaves play. Okay. The Milano will pay for psionic training, which means now I ignore guard and patrol keywords. But I can also, when I thwart, I can confuse an enemy if I want to. So that may be helpful when I need a trip down. Then I'm going to use the Psychotana and the Psy Knife to pay for Scimitar, which leaves me little bit vulnerable. Let's go ahead and draw up 4 cards. We get Gambit, Sonic Redirect, Get Me Bub, and North Star. Okay. Threat goes up by 2, bringing this up to 5. Drang is going to attack. Oh, and then this triggers. It gets a token there. So it does 2 indirect damage. So I take 2. Then Drang will attack for 3 plus a boost. 3, just 3, but I can still pay for Psionic Redirect, which we'll do here. Says, when I would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack, prevent 2 of that damage. For each Psychotana I control, prevent 2 additional damage. And then for each Psyknife I control, confuse that enemy. So, I prevent all of the damage to me, and Drang gets confused. Perfect. Then, because it was a psionic card, I get to trigger Scimitar. After I play another psionic card, exhaust Scimitar, deal 2 damage to an enemy. That'll go to the Badoon Grunt, so he doesn't even get a chance to activate. Now, I do remember, so Drang also gets a damage from Flow Like Water, and a damage from the psionic, from the weapons training. Okay? Then we get an encounter card, which is Caught Off Guard. And really, the psionic training is probably the best one to do there. Because the Caught Off Guard wants me to discard an upgrade or support I control. Okay? I think what's best here, I'm going to play Come Get Me Bub. Discard cards. We get a Badoon Warlord. Then I get to heal 3. And get a Tough. I don't have the resources I need. So I think I will, let's see. I'm going to thwart for 3 because I'll flip this as I attack. Because it's an interrupt of when I use one of Psylocke's basic powers, I can flip an energy upgrade. So I thwart for 3 here, bringing this down to just 2. Then I am going to flip down here. So I want to heal a little bit more. And I want to be able to get more cards in my hand. And she has a hand size of 6 and alter ego. Okay, so let's go ahead and ready. And we'll draw. Drang won't scheme because he's confused. And then he'll only scheme for 1. So it'll go back up to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not an ideal hand. Not getting the cards that I want right off the bat. So this goes up 2. It goes up to 4. The charge up ability triggers. Then Drang would scheme, but he's confused. He schemes, bringing this from 4 up to 5. A little bit of dust and dog hair here. Then we get an encounter card, which is Blindside. I can either exhaust the Milano or spend 2 physical resources or stun the first player. I'll just exhaust the Milano. All right. Now it's my turn. And honestly, I'm going to heal for 3, which brings me, actually heal just for 2, because that brings me up to 10. Then I will use 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3 to pay for Gambit. So we got a little bit more space here. So I'm going to move this here. That will stay up there. Get that top just right there. Okay. I'll get Gambit in. So he'll look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. And he'll take the spatial positioning. So he's now a 3/3/3. And then we'll use these 3 as resources to pay for North Star. And Gambit, we'll go ahead and thwart for 3 here, bringing it down to 2. North Star will just chill for now. Gambit takes a consequential, and then we're ready. Okay. Draw back up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We get our change of fortune and an armored vest. Okay. So threat goes up by 2, bringing this back up to 4. Drang will attack me for 3 plus a boost. I don't have any defense cards in my hand, so 3, 4. That knocks off the tough. Yeah, it wasn't worth him taking any damage for that. So that knocks off that tough. He gets retaliated against because I have retaliate 1. Then Badoon Warlord will attack for 3. I'll go ahead and take that to the face. And he'll get retaliated against. And we get a Badoon Sentry with retaliate 1. Okay. Then I think I'm going to use um, I'm going to thwart for 3. Then Milano will pay for change of fortune. Side knife will pay for armored vest. I get +1 on my defense. And I will hold these 2 cards in hand. Although, yeah, hold those in hand. Gambit will attack for 3 on the Badoon Warlord. Oh, he does take a consequential. I think forgot to put a token here, so let's go ahead and put one there. Badoon Sentry has retaliate. So I'm really hoping, let me see, do I have any more psychic misdirects in here? All the riposte, 1, 2. There's a psychic misdirection. Okay, so we have all the riposts in the discard pile, but we still have the chance to draw a psychic misdirect. So I think I'm actually going to discard Professor X and ready up. And draw 1, 2, 3. I didn't get it. Dang it. Okay. All right, so threat goes up by 2 once again, bringing it up to 3. Drang will attack me for 3 plus a boost. I'll defend for 3. Yes. Yeah. Defend for 3. 3, 4, 5. He'll take a damage, canceling the boost icons. So it was just 3. Drang gets retaliated against. The Badoon Sentry will attack me for 1 and get retaliated against. Then we get an encounter card. Exhaustion, Surge, and Exhaust Your Identity. I'm already exhausted, so it just surges into Cannonade. Comes in with 4 threat. And it's my turn. Awesome. Well, Side Knife will pay for Endurance. Then do that. That leaves me with just 2. I will do Milano, Side Knife, and Training Regimen to pay for Angel. Um, Angel will come in. After I play Angel from my hand, I get to ready my identity. And so he's aerial and X Force. Endurance. I didn't get my 3, so we'll go back up to 9. I'll thwart 3 off of Cannonade. Angel will thwart 1, defeating the scheme. Then does Gambit sacrifice himself here? Yeah, I think that's okay. So Gambit will thwart 3 here. That defeats Gambit, but gets rid of all the threat on that scheme. Okay, there we go. I'm going to discard. No, I'm going to hold this in hand. We're ready. Draw. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Awesome. So, threat goes up by 2. Drang attacks. Power of the Mind is going to pay for Psychic Misdirection. So he's going to attack me, but the damage is going to be dealt to the Badoon Sentry. So 3. And then we get a Badoon Grunt. So 3 damage goes here. It was a defense card, so he takes a damage from Flow Like Water and a Retaliate. I took no damage, which is good. Then Badoon Sentry will attack me for 1. I'll go ahead and let it come through. But he gets retaliated against, which is 5. So that defeats that enemy in the villain phase. So I get to trigger Change of Fortune and draw 2 cards. 2 Flurry of Blades. Then the Badoon Grunt will attack, and I'll defend. We get an encounter card, a Badoon Warlord. Forgot again to put the token there. So that goes up to 3. All right. Milano. Actually, we'll do Psyknife. We'll pay for Unflappable, which we'll put here with Change of Fortune. Then I will exhaust 1, 2, 3. And as I exhaust this, I'm going to switch it up to the Katana for a Flurry of Blades. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. We'll do 2 here. Then for each Psyknife I control, choose an enemy and confuse it. So we'll go ahead and confuse Drang. And then for each Psychotana I control, choose an enemy. So I have a Psychotana and do 2 damage to it. So we'll choose the Badoon Warlord, which defeats him. That resolves Flurry of Blades. And it was Psionic. So I get to trigger Scimitar and do 2 damage. So I'm going to go ahead and do it here to Drang. And we'll just leave our allies there. Ready? Draw back up to 4, 3, 4. Okay. Threat goes up by 2. We get a charge counter. That's 4, so we remove them and do 2 indirect damage. So we'll do 1 to each of our allies. Drang attacks for 3 plus a boost. I will take it. 3. Oh, and that's not supposed to be in there. 3. Just 3. I go down to 5. He gets retaliated against. Badoon Grunt attacks for 2. Angel will defend. Take no damage. We get an encounter card. Badoon Assassin, who's going to attack me. And I will defend for 1, 2, 3. He's attacking for 3. I defended it. So he gets retaliated against, which defeats him, triggering Change of Fortune and Unflappable because I took no damage after a defense. So I have to draw 3 cards. There's Yocosta. Okay, there we go. Um, Power of the Mind will pay for mental detection. Remove a threat from a scheme. For each Psi Knife you control, remove 2 additional threats. So that brings it down to 1. And for each Psychotana you control, draw a card. So I deck out. Gives me an extra encounter card. That was a Psionic card. So I will trigger Scimitar to defeat Drang. Okay, when revealed, discard the top 4 cards of the encounter deck. Each time a minion is discarded this way, put it into play engaged with the player, who is engaged with the fewest minions. So, body swapped, under fire, a Badoon Engineer, and gang up. Actually, really not that bad. Go ahead and shuffle up my deck. You know, I really didn't think that much about Scimitar until playing it in this deck. Really been nice. All right. So now the Milano will exhaust to play martial arts training. So that gives me another 1 to my defense. So I can defend for 4, retaliate 1, and defense there. Then 1, 2, 3 for that. And okay. So we'll use Genius and X Gene. Pay for Helicarrier. Put here. Then I'm going to use Psychotana, Psi Knife, and Telepathic Suggestion. No, Helicarrier, actually, to play for Yocosta. Oh, no. No, I'm not going to do that. Sorry. I will just hold these in hand. I'll get rid of Telepathic Suggestion and draw up. Yeah. Yeah. 2, 3, 4. We got 2 Psychic Misdirections and a Psionic Redirect. So if I take any damage this turn, it's going to be very confusing. All right. The threat goes up by 2. Drang attacks for 3 plus a boost. Psi Katana and Psi Knife will play Psychic Misdirection. So he's going to instead attack the Badoon Engineer for 3, 4. That defeats the Badoon Engineer. Drang takes 2, so he goes down from 18 down to 16. He takes 2 because of Retaliate 1 and Flow Like Water, playing a defense card. It is a Psionic card, so he's going to go ahead and take 2 more. Okay. There's that. That did defeat a enemy, and I took no damage from that attack, so I get to draw 3 cards. All right. Then the Badoon Grunt thinks that he's going to try and attack me because he thinks he can do damage to me. But I'm going to use a Strength to pay for another Psychic Misdirection, and he's going to attack Drang instead, but because it actually still counts as an attack against me, he gets retaliated against, and the flow like water triggers on him, defeating him. Such a good card. Okay. Then we get encounter cards. Full Breach. Choose one. Either spend 2 mental resources. Deal 3 damage to the first player or exhaust the Milano. We'll exhaust the Milano. Assault. Now he's going to try and attack me. Okay. He's going to attack for 3 plus a boost. 3, 4. I will go ahead and take all of that to the face, bringing me down to 1 health. Then eh, I'm going to go ahead and use Helicarrier, Psionic Redirect, and a Mental Detection to pay for Yocasta, who is going to pull Psychic Misdirection. So that gets attached to her face down. Pretty sure I triggered that right. I am going to flip down because Drang is confused. And we'll ready and draw up our hand size of 6. After Yocasta will thwart for 2, which gives her 2 consequential damage. But it helps mitigate anything just in case he ends up getting a second scheme. Alright. Let me draw up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I honestly think I may have the kill next turn. We'll see. So it goes up by 2. Drang would scheme, but he's confused. We get an encounter card. Bombardment. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase. So yeah, I forgot to do this. Resolve the ship's charge up ability. So comes in with 3 threat. So many 5s and so little 3s. There we go. Comes in with 3 threat. And then I can just defeat it with the Milano. Okay. On my turn, I'm going to heal for 3, bringing me up to 4. I will flip up. I don't know what the chances are of there being any minions left in there. Well, I can definitely do this. So I'm gonna play Come Get Me, Bub. First card, Shadows of the Past. There was a minion. So we get a Badoon Lieutenant. I get to heal for 3. Brings me up to 7. And I get a tough status card. Alright. Then I'm gonna exhaust this and flip it. Psychotana, Helicarrier. We'll play Flurry of Blades, deal 2 damage to an enemy. For each Psy Knife you control, choose an enemy and confuse it. For each Psychotana you control, choose an enemy and deal 2 damage to it. I don't actually have the kill like I thought. So we're just going to do all 6 damage to the Badoon Lieutenant here. Or we'll do 4 damage to the Badoon Lieutenant here. So he takes 4. Then triggers Scimitar to do 2 here to Drang. Then exhaust the Milano to remove the 3 threat there. And I'm just going to hold on to my hand. Ready? Threat goes up by 2, taking it up to 5. We trigger the bombardment. Drang will attack for 3 plus a boost. I'm going to use Power of the Mind to play Psychic Misdirection. Psychic Misdirection, so he's going to attack for 3, 4, and get a tough status card. So that defeats the Badoon Lieutenant. I'm not exactly sure what happens in what order, so I'm just going to shuffle up the encounter deck and get a acceleration token. And then all of the other responses will trigger, or rather, we'll go ahead and do the responses. So flow like water from the defense knocks off the tough. The retaliate 1 does a damage to him, and then change of fortune and unflappable trigger, drawing me 3 cards. Then, of course, we get a acceleration token. Then that resolves everything else. We get a Dune Engineer. So that triggers here. And we'll just go ahead and clear Yocosta North Star. They'll take the 2 indirect damage, clearing them. All right. How much damage can I do? It's 9. And then I can play Gambit. And then just hope for the best. Yeah. So Milano will remove 3 threat from here, bringing it back down to 2. Helicarrier, Psychotanas will pay for Gambit. Look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. And we'll get the Rogue Vessel. Makes him at 2/2. Then I'll play a Come Get Me Bub. Brave Adoon Grunt. I get to heal 3, bringing me back up to 10. Then I'm going to discard Training Regimen. Well, I will go ahead and attack for 3 here on Drang, taking him down to 6. Okay. Then I'm going to discard Psionic Training and Training Regimen. Drop 2 more cards for pretty good turn here. All right. Ready? Threat goes up by 3. Bringing that to 5. Charge up. I think I forgot to do the charge up from the Badoon Engineer coming in. So we'll go ahead and do that. Drang will attack for 3 plus a boost. Helicarrier and Milano will pay for Psionic. Well, I don't take any damage, so I can't play that. He's going to play 3 and resolve the charge up ability. So he knocks off my tough. It's too late now. He knocks off my tough. And we've already done that. So then the Badoon Engineer attacks me. I will defend and play Riposte. I defend for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He attacks for 1. It's a forced response, but it doesn't get to trigger because I defended. So he gets defeated. I get to draw 3 cards. And the grunt will attack me for 2. We get an encounter card. Drang will attack me. I can't defend, but I'll use the power of the mind to pay Psionic Redirect. So he will attack for 3, 4. I prevent 2 damage, 4 damage, 6 damage. So I take no damage from that. Unflappable would trigger if I was going to take any damage, or if it hadn't already triggered. All right. What do we do now? Okay. Gambit will attack for 2 on Badoon Grunt. The Sonic Redirect. I forgot to trigger Scimitar, but Badoon Grunt goes away. Gambit takes consequential. Then 1, 2, 3. I don't quite have all the resources I want. I could mitigate the threat really well there, but I think what I'm going to just do is Milano, Psychotana, Psychotana for Flurry of Blades. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. For each Psy Knife I control, choose an enemy and confuse it. For each Psychotana I control 2 Psychotanas. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. And that defeats Drang. That was a lot of fun. I loved every single time Drang would attack, and I just redirected the damage over to a minion. That was really nice because it triggered both Change of Fortune and Unflappable. Um, I feel like this deck really flows well together. It's one of my favorite decks. Don't forget, if you guys want to check it out, try it for yourself. The link is down in the description below. Don't forget to twist that like button and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know if you guys play it.